Uh-oh, what's up, CEOs? I got my music playing, and I think it's still playing during the video. I think I got it now. Okay, what's up, CEOs? I am back with 3 creative spaces to get for location. So if you're watching this right now, then hit replay because you're probably watching the replay. And I have a lot of new people in the group, so let me introduce myself. But first, let me make sure you can hear me, and I'm actually live. It says live, but I don't see anyone right now. Can you hear me? I'm hoping that this is working exactly how it is supposed to work. Anyway, so I'm Shamel Leonard, and I started this group and the Auto Dealer Business School so that I can help regular people become high-paid auto dealers. What's up? Good morning. And make 6 figures out the gate. So this is part of drama-free licensing. Many questions that I get, most of the questions I get are about location. And I get a lot of different comments about location. Like I've gotten a, hey, good morning, Eric. I'm going to send you an email later on today. So look out for that. I hope you're doing great. I hope everything is great. But I'll send you an email so we can catch up. So I get most of the questions around location. And I even get people commenting like, you know, why do I have to get a location if I just want to get a license to buy my family cars? Well, that's not what the license is for. The license is for those who want to be in business or, you know, commercially sell vehicles. If you just want to buy a couple of cars for your family members, then you need to buy from a dealer and, or, you know, get a license and go through the process. So this is what I found out when I was moving from the office to a location, because in Georgia, you only need an office to start, which is great for your startup costs for sure. But I quickly realized that I needed a lot and that I outgrew the office. The office, even though it is great to start with, I guess I can say it's great to start with, or it's great to, you know, lower startup costs, it does hinder the growth of your business. So if you are in a state where you have to start out with a lot, that it is actually a blessing in disguise, okay? Because you're starting out in the best possible position for your business, all right? So let's change that perspective and let's understand that getting a lot is actually the best thing for your business. So let's talk about how to satisfy that requirement, because we still want to save money, right? We still want to make sure we get an inexpensive location or something that is within our budget, something that is not going to take too many car sales to cover each month, right? So these are some ideas that I found when I was looking for my space that proved to be a little cheaper than like a bigger location. All right, so if you're struggling with location, one option you can look for is a warehouse. So my first location was actually a warehouse. It was in an office park, and I found it through a commercial real estate agent. So that's the other question I get a lot is like, okay, so how do I find a location? You know, what do I do? Well, real estate agents work for the buyer for free. The seller or the person who is leasing the property pays for the agent because they bring them money. They bring them a tenant, right? So it is in your best interest to find an agent that will give you a multitude of options so that you can pick the best one for you. And so I found this agent on Craigslist. Actually, I did not have a previous relationship with this dude, and found him, and he found this warehouse where we were able to create like an indoor showroom. You know, it was a small warehouse, so we could only fit a couple of cars in, and then we had lot space on the front side and the back side, and it was $1,500 a month. So that was very doable for a warehouse. So consider a warehouse, or it was very doable for a location. I also liked the warehouse location because it allowed for us to recondition cars inside. It also allowed for us to have our more expensive cars inside and have more security. So that's like my favorite. I highly recommend a warehouse space. But if a warehouse space is not your jam, then I work with a guy who had a space at a gas station. And there are a lot of gas stations that have like this little room off to the side. Now, mind you, the room has its own entrance from the street. So any location you get has to have its own entrance to be approved for the license, okay? It has to have its own door, it has to have its own sign. So this little room is usually like, you know, the gas station will have possibly some bays where cars can pull in. And then there's like this little office off to the side where you can have a dealership. And they usually allow you so many parking spaces so you can display vehicles. And those options tend to be really inexpensive, much cheaper than $1,500 a month. But it, of course, depends on where you are, because if you're in New York, then I can't say how much it's going to cost you. But in Georgia, it was a little cheaper than even $1,500. So take a look at some gas stations. Like, you can drive around and you can just notice which gas stations are around you and which ones might have that little room. I was out and about yesterday going to pick up some supplies for virtual summer camp for my daughter, and ran across this gas station that had like a little office on the side. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's one right there. So they are everywhere. You just have to look you know, at the gas stations, because I've noticed a lot of them don't advertise the space. Okay, so that's just one of those things where you have to be paying attention, or you have to know somebody who knows somebody, or, you know, you just have to be on your Dora Explorer. Okay, so any questions so far about warehouse and the gas station locations? Good morning. Who else is with me? I see some other people have joined. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today? Let me know. I always like to see who, you know, who's joining. So, what's up, Reggie? Good morning. So, do you have any questions about those locations, warehouse or gas station? So the other location is, I'm not sure if you can rent. I know a lot of people do buy in this situation. Like, this is more of a long-term solution for a location. But that makes it a good thing to bring up in this video, because I know there are some people who are looking for how to stop paying a lease and move towards owning their location. So one way you can do that is you can buy a lot of empty land. And I know you're like, okay, a lot of empty land. Let me just make sure, you know, so it's empty land. So then now what? Well, you buy a lot of empty land, and then you put a trailer on the land, and of course hook up the utilities to the trailer, etc. And now you have an office and you have parking spaces. And depending on the state you're in, you may need to fence in a certain area. So then you just fence in, and then now you have your permanent dealership location. And now you're no longer renting or leasing a location, you are now owning a location. And Typically, I've noticed in looking at that option, it tends to be a little cheaper. You can, depending on where you are, lots of land, of course, vary by size, but a quarter acre of land in a lot of places might be about $20,000. So you get a loan, of course, for that, or if you have $20,000, you pay for that. You get the trailer, and you'll have a location for $50,000 or less that is yours. And then if you put another trailer on, now you have another location that you can rent out to another dealership or someone looking to get their license. So now you're making money with your real estate. Okay, that is an option that I'm looking to next. I've been looking at some plots of land and looking at how to, buy them and have my dealership there. Now, of course, with any of these locations, you need to make sure it's zoned correctly. So with the plot of land, you may have to go through a rezoning process, which you go through the county and ask them what that process is. Also with the gas station, usually gas stations are zoned to be, are in the correct zoning for a dealership, but you just want to make sure, and also with the warehouse, usually warehouses too, but you just want to make sure that they are approved. And as always, check with the licensing board before spending any money to make sure that location will be approved. Okay, so that's warehouse, gas station, and buying a lot of land. All right, so is sharing a location expenses a recommended option? So it's only a recommended option if you can share a location that has two separate entrances or two separate doors. Most states, if not all states, I haven't come across one that allows two dealers to share a location with the same door. But most states require you to have a separate door for the separate dealership. And not only just a door, it has to be a distinguishing, it has to be clearly distinguished between the other business, meaning like a partition, if not a wall, etc. They really want to make sure that you have your own location. Okay, does that answer your question, Eric? Now you can share your location with a mechanic or somebody like that, like someone who's providing a service. With the warehouse, we shared part of the warehouse space with the mechanic who would contract his own jobs. He was into restoring suspension for Jeeps. So it was kind of like, shop rent for him. He would pay that. And then every once in a while he would help with reconditioning our cars. So that is a way that you can share expenses for sure, but not with another dealer. Okay, Reggie, right now you sublease. What do you mean you sublease? You mean you lease from somebody else who has a lease already on a location, or do you just lease a location? Do you have an office, or do you have like a location, like a lot? Okay. So I want to just, while I'm waiting for Reggie to respond to that, I want to just say that having a location is in your best interest. So if you're kind of skittish about, taking on the expenses or the responsibility or any of that, it comes back to you so quickly in this business. I did not realize how much, I think I did realize how much a location would boost business, but I was just surprised that it boosted business that much. I was like, oh, like people just drop by to buy cars. Just all kinds of things. You feel like you're more in business. And anytime you feel more legit or more like a legitimate business, or, a big business, or, a bigger business, anytime you feel good like that, you of course attract more to make you feel good. So you attract more customers, you attract more deals, you attract better cars. We had more cars on the lot, and I love seeing the lot with like all the cars out. It was just a good feeling. So having a location is in your best interest. And I'm opening a new location this year, and I'm very excited about it. Even though I have the option to just have an office in Georgia, that is not the option for six figures, like big business. I am ready for, to have that kind of activity again. So don't shy away from having a location. If you have fear around it, recognize what the fear is just trying to get you to pay attention to. Is it saying to you, you need more money in your budget? If that's what it's saying, get more money. If it's saying to you, you need somebody else to be in this office with you. If that's the case, then hire someone to be in the office with you or for you. Okay, so just recognize that your fear, if you have any, just wants to make sure that you're successful and that you see everything. You see the whole picture. And so if there's something you're not paying attention to, it's trying to get you to pay attention to it. Eric says, I get at least one person a month to buy a car that walks in. Yeah. At least one person a month that walks in. Yeah. So yeah, it's like in your best interest. So don't shy away from a location at all. Eric actually purchased a location from an existing dealer, which is another option. A dealership was already there. A dealer was going out of business. I think he was going out, or is retiring, right, Eric? He was retiring and sold his location, which was already well known as a location. So, that's a plus. Basically, it's like new name under new management. Come get these cars, right? Owner finance. Yes. So Eric owner financed the location. So that is another option. I'm glad you were here, Eric, because I wouldn't have mentioned that otherwise. But that is another option, is to go into an existing dealership and figure out some owner finance deal. And that's probably, there are probably a lot of opportunities for that right now because of this time. There may be a lot of dealers transitioning out of the business, or older dealers who haven't quite figured out how to retire and have the business, and they're wanting to just sell the business. So that is probably a great opportunity to find some owner finance deal. Reggie says, with the tax company that have a warehouse wasn't being used. Oh, okay, great. That's where your subleasing is, with a tax company. Okay, do you have your own door, your own entrance, or are you inside the tax company? Because I did work with a friend of mine one year during tax season. She's a tax consultant, and she had just moved to a new location, and I was inside her office during certain hours during tax season. But I didn't have my dedicated office space there. I had an office, dedicated location somewhere else. So do you have like your own entrance, Reggie, or is it, or is it something like that? So hopefully this was helpful. If it wasn't helpful, let me know what you expected to get from it. Also, if you have any other ideas on finding locations for other auto dealers who are interested in getting started, then put it in the comments. We're out here to help each other. So please do offer up anything you have that would be helpful. And drama-free licensing is coming up soon, which is an opportunity for you to get licensed. So it's been on my heart to have a program that will help you get through the licensing process, help you with finding a location, help you with incorporating, and, you know, checking off all the requirements for your license, sending in your application, and getting it improved. There are a lot of people whose strength is managing projects like that, but then there are some who that's just so overwhelming for them. So the goal of Drama-Free Finance or licensing is to help those who are overwhelmed by the whole process of going through the licensing process to get through it and get licensed quickly and with few delays and few dollars lost. Okay, so that's Drama-Free Financing. If you're interested, then you can email me, or I will put a link in the description for you to sign up for more information. Reggie says, yes, I have my own door in the back with parking. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. So that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions? If you do, then put them in the comments. Was this helpful at all? But everyone here is already licensed. So if this was helpful for you watching the replay, then let me know. And I will be back next week with some other goodies to help you along this journey. Okay, so stay safe, get paid. Okay, and okay, Eric says very helpful as usual. Okay, great. Reggie, your space was approved by the DMV. Great. All right, so yeah, stay safe and love each other. Okay, definitely spread love, not hate. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.